Shalom. We are still in Parashah Chaye Sarah, which is the life of Sarah. Now, as I mentioned previously, this is a fairly short Torah portion, and it's about the life of Sarah and the death of Sarah. Then it's the marriage of Isaac. Then it is Abraham marrying another wife. I think it's Keturah. I can't remember the name. Keturah. And then the death of Abraham. So what we see here is, I previously said it's two deaths or two funerals and one wedding. It's actually two weddings and two funerals, which is a perfect, balanced representation of the cycle of life and death, the cycle of ending of one thing and the beginning of another, the handing over of the concept of the birthright and the covenant. So the covenant has been given to Abraham, and with his death, that covenant is now moving to Yitzhak, to Isaac. And the whole story about Isaac, if you read the book of Genesis, you'll see there's not a lot of things written about Isaac, but there's a lot of things written about Abraham and the life of Abraham. Isaac's claim to fame was he just inherited a lot of things from his father, and the rest is basically moving on into Jacob, which will be in the following Torah portions, where there will be a bit more disclosed about the household, the starting of the family, migrating into a household or a nation. Now Isaac just highlights the fact that since there's not much mentioned there, it doesn't mean there's much embedded in his existence and in his name. Now we all know, we've been through the Torah portions before, that Isaac is a picture of Mashiach. Now we know that there's not a lot of things disclosed about Mashiach. We only have a little bit in the New Testament about him, not much, revealing that he is the promised one, and a few of his teachings, which are basically just Torah teachings, revealing the Torah to the people of that day. Now, Isaac is similar to that. There's not much said about him, and through his life, there's just a little bit revealed on what was already written, which is the covenant and the life of Abraham. So Isaac is not something in itself. It always points back to the covenant, back to Abraham. Now, if you look at the word Yeshua, it means Yahweh is salvation. His name points back to Yahweh. His name points to the Father. And he told these disciples, if you look at me, you see the Father. And he also said, I don't do anything of myself. I only do the things that I see my Father is doing, or that I hear my Father is saying. He repeat those things. So that basically gives us the concept that Yeshua is an extension of Yahweh and not something in itself. Yahweh manifested in the physical is what Yeshua represents. In the same way, Isaac is a manifestation or an extension of Abraham and the covenant within a new generation or a new time frame. And that's exactly what being a Christian is about, or a Messianic, whatever you want to call it. It's a small version of the real, and the real, which is Mashiach, is an extension of someone that is more real, which is the Father. It always points back to the Father. So the work of Messiah is not to lead us to Messiah. The work of Messiah is the Dalet, the door. We're going to look at the letter Dalet. It's a doorway and an opening that leads into the household where you will find the Aleph, Yahweh, which is the Eden Aleph behind the large enlarged bed within the word Bereshit. So we want to find the one of which there's not much written, even less than Isaac, but yet there's so much written about him if you delve a bit deeper. Yahweh's fingerprints is all over his creation. It's within his word. Everything he touched, everything he said reveals him. So we are studying his word, we are looking at his creation, we are looking at humans, the creation of man, Adam, because within those things we study him. And he is revealed through those things. He is revealed through the work of Messiah. And Messiah just point to the Father, point to the origin of all things, which is the concept of the Father, which is the essence of Yotevave, Yahweh. So Yotevave is the unseen God that Abraham found, seeking something real because the idols didn't do it. So he was asking the right question, and then Yahweh revealed himself to him in a powerful way. And he even called Abraham his friend. And that is someone he spent time in a face-to-face relationship. And we find that in the first Torah portion, and we're going to do this Sabbath as well, which is Vayera, which is the encounter of Yahweh and Abraham. And he manifests himself in the form of three men, or three aspects, or three functions, or three roles. And not only that, Yahweh also reveals himself to Abraham through Melchizedek, which is a high priest of a higher realm, which is not much revealed about him, just like not much revealed about Isaac. So you connect the things that are not a lot of things revealed to that, and those things through Hebrew poetry connects in itself. And all of those things are linked to Yeshua. Yeshua points to Yahweh, and it ultimately reveals Yahweh. So a lot of insights in these two Torah portions, specifically in the life of Isaac, that is not disclosed, and we find all the evidence around that whole situation and that nice menorah pattern. So I just want to leave you with that. I hope you have a lovely day. Just as a reminder, we are going to do a double Torah portion, Vayera and Chaya, Sarah, this Saturday. I'm also going to do the letters Dalet and Hey, as continuing on with our Aleph Bet series while we do the Torah portions. And I will speak to you soon. Shalom.